Greetings, and thank you for joining us for the 47th episode of DC Animation with Spencer and Friends. This is an LMG Podcast Production. Today, I'm joined by a dear friend.
It's your boy J Squared, aka John John, aka Juice Man, aka John the Don. Nah, I'm just playing. It's
I was
just
gonna say,
Jonathan.
man's got nicknames on nicknames.
It's just Jonathan.
Okay, I'm happy to have you here. I absolutely call you Juice Man, and I don't know if that's gonna change. Like, you might be Juice Man till I die. Like, it's just how it's gonna be.
Sounds about right.
Real quick, it's been a minute since we've seen you on the show. Could you remind the people about your DC consumption, what DC you take in, video games, movies, TV shows, comic books, whatever?
So definitely not a reader. So don't read comic books whatsoever. But video games wise, all of it. Um TV shows, movies, all of it. Grew up watching it, loved it, grew up playing the games, and I still continue to watch and play the games. So just about all. The only thing I have not done is literally just read the comic books.
Okay, excellent. And there are a lot of people who are in that same boat, but DC's got some excellent media, so DC allows for that boat.
Yep.
So, excellent. Well, I appreciate you for joining us on this journey through DC Animation. Today's film is Teen Titans Trouble in Tokyo, released September 15th, 2006.
Sheesh.
This is a good while ago.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm going to read a synopsis in my own words, and then we're just going to talk about it. So, we open in heavy traffic when suddenly a ninja who would be great for a gender reveal party starts attacking the city, and the Teen Titans arrive to stop him. A lengthy battle ensues, during which he attacks Titan's tower, but the Titans are able to defeat him. Upon capturing the villain, they realize that he doesn't speak English. During the interrogation, the villain reveals himself to be Psychotech, and he was sent from Japan by Brushogun before hitting the sprinklers and escaping. The Titans pack up and head to Tokyo to bring the villain to justice. One montage later, the Titans arrive in Japan and Broshogun immediately notices their arrival. They decide to start with the roughest part of town, but the language barrier is an issue. Starfire finds a local, learns Japanese real quick, and the Titans are able to get directions. A kaiju starts attacking power lines, and the Titans spring into action. They realize that the kaiju is also the work of Brushogun. Things aren't going super well for the Titans, but then the Tokyo troopers arrive and subdue the kaiju. Commander Daizo gives the Titans a tour of his command center, and Robin asks if he can use their resources to locate Brushogun. Commander Daizo tells him that Brushogun is nothing more than an urban myth. The Titans decide to enjoy their time in Tokyo since they no longer have a villain to catch, and Brushogun surveils them. After a great day of fun, Robin and Starfire have a tender moment when Robin redirects all of his attention back to their original mission, which causes Starfire to leave in tears. Since Robin is still in the game, Psychotech is sent to finish him. Robin loudly defeats him, which draws a crowd and causes Commander Daizo to arrest him for manslaughter. The mayor gets on the news and tells the Titans to turn themselves in or leave Japan. The Titans try to regroup, but they are attacked by Brushogun's creations. While Robin is being transported, it looks like Brushogun breaks him out, so he continues his search. Robin needs to disguise himself since he's being hunted. Luckily, he gets attacked in an alley, so he steals that guy's identity. Robin finds a bar in the bad part of town and gets some information about Brushogun from the bartender. Robin is chased down by the troopers, but he is saved by Starfire. The Titans regroup and exchange information. Cyborg connects all of the attacks to a single attacker, and Raven tells the Titans the story of Brushogun. The Titans are then chased by everyone that's been looking for them, and another montage later, they investigate the comic book factory and find an emaciated Brushogun attached to a painting machine or a printing machine that is using his powers against his will. Uh, he is the one who sent Psychotech to Jump City in order to get the Titans to Tokyo to find him. Turns out Commander Daizo has been behind it all along. The Titans are surrounded, so everybody gets to throwing hands. After Robin corners him, Commander Daizo jumps into the ink machine and turns into a giant ink monster. After the final fight, Robin is able to pull Broshogun out of the ink monster, breaking the magic and making all of the ink disappear. Robin and Starfire finally share a kiss, and the Titans are celebrated by the city for their work. And that's the movie. So, Juice Man, what'd you think of the movie?
Man, I ain't even gonna lie. I remember that movie. I feel like I remember that movie being so good. I guess as a kid of what, 10 years old, 2006. But watching it now, I legit was I in the first probably 30 minutes I said this movie is hot booty cheeks. And I and I don't know. I did not think it was going to be this bad. I was expecting like okay, some storyline. I remember the gist. Um but yeah, it was not good. And luckily like the end of the movie I think saved it a little bit because like 1 out of 10, I was going with a straight like 2 or 3. Then by the time the end of the movie, I was like, okay, I get this like a 5, 4 or 5.
Okay. Okay, really not feeling it. And
No,
it's like that sometimes. I didn't hate it. I actually I also kind of remembered it like it was somewhere in my memory and I remember it being better than it was. Like when I was younger, it
facts.
was it was much better. And today, again, it was fine. I didn't hate it. I can't just say I loved it, but I don't think I hated it the same way you did. I would not call it hot booty cheeks.
Oh, really? I think it's mostly, I think I just reminisce. I think by the time this movie came out, I think there was already like a miniature romance between Robin and Starfire. And throughout this whole movie, it felt like they were like trying to hint towards that a whole lot and to the build up towards the end. And I feel like as a 10-year-old, that probably is what like grabbed my attention or like made me romanticize with the movie as much because oh, this is happening in the TV show. They're building upon this in the movie. Yeah, it was but now watching it now, I'm like, yeah, this is not good.
Okay. Okay, let's talk through it. So we open with Psychotech kind of just, attacking randomly. And
Random AF. I'm
very
glad you're
random.
saying randomly.
No, it was random. Yeah, like everything was fine, and then it wasn't. And yeah, Psychotech, who we don't know yet, is just like throwing smoke bombs and just causing a ruckus. And so the Titans arrive, and Psychotech is giving them problems. Like they're not doing well against Psychotech.
I legit was like, okay, so it's taking 5 of them to handle one, and they're literally getting beat to a pulp.
Yeah. Like they are not doing well at all. Like all five of them are just getting beat down in this situation. And while this is happening, Psychotech makes his way over to Titan's Tower and just starts fucking it up. Like just fucked up their whole house.
And then, of course, you got main man Robin. doing
course.
his doing his big one, as any protege of Batman would do. Got to single-handedly himself kind of handle the situation.
Oh yeah, because as soon as the Titans captured him and they get back home, everybody is like, "Hey, we should probably start cleaning up." And Robin is like, "Y'all know where I'll be."
You know. He said, "Nah, fuck that.
Yeah, we know I'm not
We
cleaning a
got
goddamn
business."
thing. I'm getting answers. So yeah, Robin goes in there and he's just, talking in Japanese. And so I guess Robin just has a translator and yeah, he turns that on and now he goes in there and he's like, "What the fuck? Like I need you to explain it to me right now." And he, says Brashogun and he's frantic and he's like, "Oh my God, I have to get out of here. I have to get back to Japan." Uh, you know, and he says Brashogun. And then whenever he turns on the sprinkler, he disappears. And initially, if you haven't seen this movie, you don't know how that happened.
Yeah, you thinking it's on some Slade type stuff at that point in time.
Yeah.
You're not
And
really you're
so,
not really thinking about it too hard. You're just like, okay, he just disappeared. That's weird.
yeah, and you're probably thinking, yeah, he's a ninja. So, that tracks. Like the lights go out, the lights come back on, he's gone. This is how that works. And so the Titans are like, okay, he's from Japan. We have a name. We're just gonna go to Japan. Like that's just what it's gonna be. Because we can't have this. We can't allow this attack to just go unanswered. So we're gonna go to Japan and we're gonna find who we're looking for. Now, obviously, Japan is a big place. Doesn't matter. We're just gonna start in the middle. We're gonna start at Tokyo. We're gonna find the roughest neighborhood.
Yeah, okay. So them saying the roughest neighborhood and then immediately just be like Shibuya. I'm like, hold up. Now, who's to say you just declaring Shibuya to be the roughest a part of Japan? And then I'm
Yeah,
like,
that's what they said.
I I wonder if I was in Japan and I'm watching this and I'm like, oh, they just declared Shibuya as rough.
Yeah, just all of it,
And you're just
whole
like, yeah,
thing.
this is the roughest place. I was like, okay, that's pretty upsetting, but okay, hey, they got away with it back then, obviously.
And you know how DC often makes up random cities. So like Jump City, where the Titans are, made up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gotham City, Metropolis, Central City, Star City, like all they just have a bunch of made up cities. So I thought they were gonna just make some shit up. Nope, they went with the real place. And
No,
it was called Trouble in Tokyo. So, I knew they would
they
be in Tokyo. But yeah, they just no, Shibuya. Yep. That's where the Roughnecks are.
they definitely went home on that one. I said, wow, okay, that's
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
crazy, but
all right. Yeah. Whatever. I'm sure. I don't know if there's any like truth to that or any like stereotypes that are associated with
at all,
that
at
because I know
all.
that like I'm sure that, the way that a lot of Americans feel about like Detroit, like I don't know if it's the same.
Exactly. That would be yeah, to me that'd be kind of crazy if like somewhere just a different country probably knows little about the US. Maybe, I don't know. And they're just like, yeah, the roughest place, Chicago.
Yeah, just yeah.
We're like, okay,
All right.
I guess.
And I would imagine that, because there are so many like shows that we have, people assume that a rough place would be New York because it feels like every cop show takes place in New York.
Yep.
So, obviously that's where the trouble is. But also all of the random sitcoms that are just, happy and vibrant also take place in New York. But anyway,
Yeah, it was a definitely strong stereotype they threw there. I said, okay, we'll just ignore it.
yeah, we'll ignore it.
There's another
Uh,
scene though that we'll get there, but I couldn't ignore this one. But go ahead.
okay. So we have a little like traveling montage because one thing that Teen Titans does, it might be like top three Western animations heavily inspired by anime. Like
Oh, for
it might
sure.
be, I like in my head it's number one. There may be something that's a little more heavily anime inspired, but like this is one of the most heavily anime inspired Western cartoons I've ever seen.
I mean, yeah,
Because there are some shows that are anime inspired just by the art style, which like the Boondocks is. There are some that are inspired, they're anime inspired in concept, like Avatar: The Last Airbender.
that's on. I was gonna say that was number one.
But this is inspired, like they do the anime shit, like the cutaways where like people change sizes and all like those types of things. Super exaggerated features in those moments, like whenever somebody's mad at somebody else, how they get like giant and the other person is small, and like that kind of style of anime, like they
But hell, even the opening, right? Isn't that
yeah, like they have a Japanese version of the opening.
yeah, I was like, I think
And what I noticed, I don't know if this is true, but it felt like if it was if the title was in English, then it was going to be like a regular episode. If the title was in Japanese, it was going to be some bullshit fun filler episode.
facts.
So yeah, like whenever it was in Japanese, I was like, oh, this episode's just going to be a good time. We're just here to vibe. But if it was in English, it was like, okay, we got some story in this one. At least I think that's what I remember. But anyway, they arrive in Japan and we see, a mysterious, darkly clad figure saying, "Oh, the Titans have arrived." And we know that that's the villain. We know that that's Bruce Shogun, but we don't know much about him. We just know that he is obviously in a position to surveil them because he knows immediately when they arrive and he's keeping an eye on them.
Ain't gonna cap. Not remembering the movie and like the overall plot. My immediate thought process was like, what if this is Slade? That'd be crazy.
I assumed it wasn't Slade for a couple reasons. I think that Slade is on the cover of this movie, though.
No, I think it's like Brashugan, just a dark figure.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's not Slade.
Hopefully. Yeah.
It's just somebody who like could be Slade.
I think it was just like as the chair turned around, it's like my first mind. The first thing in my mind was just like, oh, okay, what's this Slade? That'd be crazy. Even though I'm pretty sure it's not, but that would just add some flair to this movie that it's not giving in the first 30 minutes that I wanted.
Well, and it wouldn't have made sense to be Slade because again, they went all the way to Japan. Um, why would it be Slade in this situation? I mean, and this movie gave like made for TV movie energy. And
And that's what also upset me. I'm like, what are we doing with an hour 15 movie that really could have been 3 episodes?
I
It
agree.
it could have been 3 episodes. They could have, other than that, they should have made it 2 hours and put some more depth into it.
I 100% agree. Like one or the other. Like this just felt like a long episode of Teen Titans. And yeah, it just felt like a filler thing. But I know that there were a lot of restrictions back then with animated movies, like animated movies weren't taken as seriously and all that. And DC has done their best with their tight 75-minute allowance. And so I think that this suffered from like the people in the back, like the industry and the executives and all of those people who said, "No, you get 75 minutes, that's it, that's all we can do." So I think this movie did suffer from that, but that is something that we see in a lot of these like pre DC animated films movies. Like we see that they are locked to a tight 75 minutes because all of them are almost exactly 75 minutes.
Well, to be honest, if this was playing on Cartoon Network, you gotta factor in all the damn commercials. I'm pretty sure it probably lasted till for 2 hours.
Yeah, probably. Minimum hour and a half. Like they gave this an hour and a half time slot.
Hmm.
But yeah. So they arrive in Japan. Bruce Shogun obviously notices, and yeah, they say, we're going to start in the roughest part of town. So let's find the roughest part of town. And I'm happy with the amount of Japanese that was in this movie.
Oh, for sure. If you're gonna do it, at least do it.
Yeah, like it would have been really easy for them to not have as much Japanese actually like spoken in this movie, but yeah, like all the people that lived there spoke Japanese.
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing here. So, yeah. And whenever I knew again, I didn't remember this movie very well, but I remember Starfire, you know, doing the kiss thing to learn languages. And so I knew that that's what was going to happen.
That's an impeccable memory because I was just like, oh,
Well, and that again, that's the first episode of Teen Titans, and like most Teen Titans things start with that. So even in the newer DC animated movies, with the Justice League versus Teen Titans, and they show that Starfire arrives, like that's how she learns English, is she kisses Robin. And so, like, that's always been a thing. And I remember that from the first episode. And whenever she did it and Robin was taken aback, I was like, so do you not remember how she learned English? Because
mm,
that's how she learned English. And later in the movie, he asks her about it. And I'm like, if I knew that, that means you knew that. Like, if I knew that, that means it was explained.
he was just
And
taken aback that obviously his main girl over here smacking that smacking lips with somebody else.
yeah, that's true. And yeah, that dude, the dude she kissed, was definitely like, I am in love with you after that, which makes sense. Starfire is, this is the most tame representation of Starfire. Like, Starfire is usually stacked up. And this is made for children, so that's why she's not, even though there are still people who were looking at her as such. Same with Raven. A lot of people wanted Raven.
Listen, back in the day, Raven was
Raven was a part of a lot of dudes, or a lot of, at the time, children's like interest in goth girls. There was a
yeah.
goth girl phase, and Raven heavily contributed to that. So, yeah, like there were a lot of people who like, who what cartoon would you pick? Raven was a lot of people's answer. But Starfire, I'm sure that in that world, Starfire be looking right because every representation of Starfire, they again, it's agreed. Like she's like
Yeah.
Meg the Stallion, but like a little bit extra. Like it's dumb how stacked up they make Starfire in the book. Like she's made for fan service, and like that's exactly what she is. And so she kisses a random, youth, learns Japanese real quick, and I guess she learns not only to speak it but to read it. And they're like, okay, we need to go this way. Cool. They get directions, and suddenly a kaiju starts doing stuff, and everybody's yelling and screaming and running, and then they see it, and they are like, Titans go. So now we got to fight this kaiju. And it doesn't take long for them to realize, oh, this kaiju is connected to Bruce Shogun.
Yeah. Yeah, they it it was obviously trouble in Tokyo, so let's make this giant kaiju creature or whatever, and let's have them fight it and everything else. I just wasn't. I was just not impressed. I don't know. Maybe I'm just hating at this point. But it just felt like okay. Like I kept feeling like I was waiting on what's next. But I guess like rethinking about it now, everything was done for a reason because it had to introduce a certain other plot or a certain other piece or part. Um, I don't know. It was like an
It's
all
so
right fight though. Like it was like whatever.
Yeah, and again, it's okay if you didn't like it. I will say the fight choreography for Teen Titans was never spectacular, but that's when I compare it to other things that DC has done.
Oh,
At the time,
I was like,
like
I always feel like Robin though is always giving hands.
Oh yeah, Robin get that staff and he be going.
Yeah, I'm like Robin is always giving hand. Like in all honesty, every Robin fight in this whole movie was probably it was the best fights actually.
We're going to talk about it whenever we get to Robin and Psychotech,
Mm.
because I have something to say about it. But Cyborg like blows a hole through it, and it like regrows the hole. And so Cyborg is like, "Oh, that thing is related to Shogun because I blew Psychotech's arm off, and it grew back and randomly changed colors. So that same thing just happened. They're connected. Okay." And the kaiju is winning, and then the police
Oh,
arrive.
I'm 100% positive that that creature killed at least 100 people. Like the amount of destruction they was actually showing in the movie, I was like, "Oh, we just flipped over this train that we just saw had people in it,
Yeah,
and it's basically blown up." I'm
there
like,
were
we
some
just
there were
want to
some
ignore.
off-screen deaths.
Yeah, like, oh no, I feel like they were on screen. You just didn't see them within the train anymore. Like they showed them in the train, then we watched the train get sliced in half and then blown up, and then it's like, oh, okay, those all those people just died, I guess. We just
Yep, we time to
mass
talk about it.
destruction.
Uh-huh. Yeah. And so, yeah, there were some bodies, and the police force show up, and they set up this little thing to put him in a net. And Cyborg is like, "Oh, we need one of them because that thing is effective." So, Commander Daizo introduces himself, and he's like, "Oh, Titans, I'm so happy to have you here. Let me give you a tour of our beautiful city." And so he gives them a tour of his command center, and basically says, "I'm the HNIC, and this is my operation. I keep the city safe. There are zero problems here because I have a handle on it."
Yeah, for sure.
And Robin is like, "Oh, excellent. Would it be all right if I use your facility because I need to find the villain who is the reason I'm here? There was a villain who came to my house and destroyed it. So could I have your help in finding him? His name is Bruce Shogun." And Commander Daizo just starts laughing in his face. He's like, "Ha ha ha ha. That's funny. That's not real. It's an urban legend. What are you talking about? That's yeah. Obviously, you're not familiar with Japanese lore.
I think
Obviously.
I think this is the scene where he mentions real he says something along the lines of like real criminals.
Hmm.
Um, and when he points at the screen, it's very quick. He points at a TV screen and says, though, like, these are the real criminals, or my people are handling the real criminals, something of that nature. I guarantee you, you see different, like, panels, and there is a black guy in one of the panels that is getting
Oh,
handled.
I missed it.
I literally rewind. I said, hold on. Is that is that just a random black person in there? Then I'm
Getting
like,
arrested in Japan.
it was so
Obviously, he's from Shibuya.
it was so crazy. I said, there's no way they slid that in there and act like people just didn't know. Unless they just like it was just like a hint of color on that character model for some reason. We just did not know. I don't know. But to me, it definitely was a black person. I said, that is wild.
If I would have seen it, I would have agreed. If I would have seen it, I would have brought it up. I would have wrote a note about it. So I'm glad you
I
did.
I remember that one off top. I said I'm not forgetting this. You had me with Shibuya first off. I said, oh, all right. But you lost me when you propped up a black person out of nowhere. I couldn't agree.
Okay. I thank you. Because yeah, that one got by me.
I
Okay.
said,
Yeah.
that's 2006 Cartoon Network.
And I meant to look at that screen because I knew there was going to be some kind of Easter egg on it or somebody that we hadn't seen. But I also knew that in this time period there were a lot of licensing issues, and so there were a lot of characters that Teen Titans just couldn't use.
That's
And
interesting.
so
That I
that
did not know.
Yeah, and that's why Robin is like they make no reference of Batman ever in Teen Titans
Facts.
because of like licensing and characters belonging to certain things. Yeah, so that's why they had to keep all that separate. And yeah, in the 2000s, that was a big issue. There was like a lot, there was no unity with character usage other than the uh DC animated universe with the Justice League. Like they were pretty free to use a lot of stuff, but yeah, like even like Smallville didn't have a license for Batman. Like there was a lot of
Smallville,
separation there.
Smallville used to be my stuff.
So yeah. Um, so the Titans are like, hey, we don't have a villain to catch. So we should just like we've been talking about going on vacation forever. I want to go on vacation. They want to go on vacation. Let's make it a vacation. We're here. Because Robin is like, all right, well, all right, cool. Let's go home. No,
I said, I'm
I
here to
would
party.
I would like to enjoy myself. And the one thing Beast Boy wants to do is to tour the comic book factory. And of course, it was closed. And so they're not able to do that, but they're like, no, we're gonna have some fun while we're here. We're gonna do a little something. And we see Bruce Shogun make some creatures that kind of resemble each of the Titans in a different way to, follow them around a little bit. So Cyborg gets a little like robot Titan. Raven gets a little, or Cyborg gets a little robot paint ink thing. Raven gets a little ghost one to follow her. Beast Boy gets a transforming humanoid.
I'm like
And
cat, humanoid,
yeah,
tiger,
like basically
something like
Cheetah.
that.
And Starfire essentially gets Gizmo, but a little guy who can like shoot stuff.
Yeah, I was like, I really didn't see the correlation there, but I was like, oh, okay, I guess they can fly and shoot beams.
That's that was the best I had was like they
Yeah, I
can
was
they can
like,
fly and shoot stuff. And that's Starfire's thing. She flies, she shoots things. But again, he was more like Gizmo, like than anything. But it didn't matter. They didn't need to be exact copies. But they have a great day. Raven goes to the library and she figures I'm going to learn as much about Bruce Shogun as I can. She's trying to find something to read. She just wants to spend her time reading peacefully. And there's nothing in English. And she mentions like 9 languages she can read and speak. And I'm like, of course, Japanese isn't in your bag.
yeah, there's
That's fine.
just you just know everything besides this one. That's fine. That's cool.
Yeah. She was like, I know English, I know Latin, I know ancient Sumerian. Uh, I probably know some demon shit, but yeah, don't know Japanese. Don't have it in my bag.
Like it's okay. Plot. We
Yeah,
get it.
yeah, it needed to happen.
Plot.
So yeah, that's fine. So she gets some gum, which comes back around town, and she eventually finds a library where she's able to get some reading done. Cyborg is always hungry, and so he finds an all-you-can-eat, and they were not ready for him. And they also tried to poison my man. It felt like at the end, whenever he was
But
like,
they were
"You
just
need to
giving him stuff.
leave."
Yeah.
Yeah, it gave him like an old shoe with wasabi in it.
My man said, luckily I'm a robot. So bring
Yeah,
it. I can
yeah,
do it more.
and because that's the thing, like he's a robot, but also he's a teenager, and teenagers are bottomless pits. Like teenage boys eat everything, all of it. I remember when I was that age, I could I could eat so much by myself and feel great.
I was like, I would eat just to eat and then continue
Just to eat.
eating just because I'm bored. I would eat because I'm bored and not
Yeah.
in a single pound
Yeah, I would eat because there was food.
because it's there.
Yeah. It's like if we go to a restaurant, like, what do you want? The large.
Always. Why would I
I'm
get
gonna
a
need
small?
I'm
That
gonna need
makes
the
no
large. Yeah.
sense.
I know I was expensive to feed. And back then it wasn't expensive. Like you get a large for, $9 back in my day. But now, whenever
11
whenever my son is a teenager, I swear it's going to be $30 to feed him,
Bruh.
and I'm not looking forward to it.
Shit, $30 to feed myself. What you mean?
That's what I'm saying. Like, no, thank you. But Beast Boy, he's trying to find him a lady.
Man said I'm all about the booty. That's what
All
I
about
came.
it.
That's what I came here for.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking. That's what I'm here for.
I want some foreign booty.
Yeah, I need some Japanese butt. So let me go and find it. And he finds a girl that he immediately falls in love with, and it's a trap. But he, finds his way into a karaoke place, and it's the Teen Titans theme song with random ass words. I don't know where these lyrics came from. They don't rhyme or nothing.
I
They're just
for a
there.
second, I also thought like, damn. I was like, is the original song in Japanese? And I'm like, no, it's not. They sing it in English. And I was like, I wonder if he's singing like the actual English words of the Japanese version. But then I was like, nah, this is just making fun, of course. But it was just a fun thought in that moment.
Yeah. And Starfire and Robin, have a fun little day together. And eventually they find themselves on a rooftop and they are having a very, a tender moment. They're about to, you know, finally express the feelings they have for one another.
And it's crazy.
And
I remember that as a kid, and I'm like, I remember it being so, I don't know, intense. Like
mhm.
it,
When you're 10, it probably was.
yeah, it felt like, oh, this is spicy. Like, oh, this is
And not only that, but you also had the show. So you were locked in because you had the show which was building it, and then you saw this finally take
like
place.
something
And
about to
so
happen. You're like, oh,
yeah, like I've been waiting for this. Been
this
waiting
is
for them
and
to
this
finally.
this sounds like some like they would show that part as part of the commercial before like building up to the movie to get you to tune in to watch the movie, most likely.
Mhm.
I can see that being like the commercial piece to get people to tune in and watch it. Like, ooh, we're about to finally have some love, romantic action between Starfire and Robin. Tune in to see.
Yeah, like the thing you've been waiting for. And Robin eventually like reroutes all of his attention back to the mission.
And nigga said, "No, fuck that. We came here for a job. I'm gonna go get this nigga because he fucked up my house.
Yeah,
I ain't let
I
that shit go."
yeah, he said, and I took it personal because yeah, like he came to my house and darkened my doorway with his presence. He vandalized my shit. Our house still isn't clean because we left for Japan immediately. So
Nigga
we
said,
still got broken windows.
10 toes on this. It's what it is.
Yeah, he said, no, this is what we're doing. I am a hero first and foremost. And Starfire was like, can you be more than that? Robin said, hell no, I can't be more than that.
She definitely said it. His response definitely had me rolling because she just
Yeah.
went away crying.
Can you be more than just hero? No, I can't. I am a hero. This is what heroes do.
He said,
Heroes
"This is
do
me.
hero shit.
This is my life."
And yeah, she was upset and, left in tears. Understandably, because they were about to have a moment. It was about to finally happen. And she was like, he cares more about this mission shit than anything. I don't know what to do with that. And so, uh, Robin is still like, again, Robin's locked in. So Blue Shogun is like, all right, and sends Psychotech after him. And they have their fight. And let me say this. Robin by himself is cold as hell. But when he's with the Titans, he's not.
Yeah, yeah.
Because
He's definitely more of a threat by himself.
because when he was Red X, he was beating their ass alone.
Easy.
And then whenever he wasn't Red X, but he was with the Titans, Red X was beating their ass. Like he's worse with them as far as on like when it comes to throwing hands. Like I don't know if they get in his way or if he's like playing down because he's got help or I don't know what it is, but when he's alone, my man works.
It's almost as if like he be looking to not kill, but yeah, he's here to maim you for sure. But then when he's with his team, he's usually thrown into somebody or somebody's thrown into him. Or like I do think it's more so of a in the way type situation. Because he's
Yeah.
way more lethal every time he's by himself. It's almost like he's looking to kill you.
Yeah. When he goes one on one, he goes. And at first, I thought, oh, that's just because you have to be that way with Slade. But no, anytime he's in a one-on-one, he's like, no, I'm here to like we're not gonna fight again. There ain't gonna be no rematch. But whenever he is with the Titans, he, softens it a little bit. And yeah, I've noticed that, and that's usually again, that's just plot. Like I don't think that that's actually um a part of the story. I think that they make his one-on-one fights more interesting and because that's all that's happening. So like we
Yeah.
have to choreograph that and we have to, make it actually happen. We have to show how much of a problem Robin is hand to hand.
Because he's the only person that's actually throwing. I mean, the others throw hands, but they most of the time shoot things. And
Yeah, like the three of them are mostly projectile and the
Beast Boy
cyborg
just
yeah, like Cyborg will do like a big punch here and there, but like the other three are projectile, and yeah, Beast Boy will just turn into different animals to get work done.
run. It
Which
was like, yeah, just run into. Now that I think about it, I really don't. Yeah, Beast Boy just does random things.
yeah, like Beast Boy, like his main, I like he'll do T-Rex, he'll do gorilla, he'll do bear, he'll do
Yeah.
big cat, usually tiger, but and then he'll like escape from situations with like rat or snake and yeah, I mean, and Beast Boy, whenever Beast Boy turned into that like demon thing, like he was a problem.
The
But
the demon thing. And
season three, maybe, whenever, he started just having a bad attitude, and then yeah, he turned into
oh yeah.
yeah, when he was turning into that thing, yeah, I was like, oh, you scary.
Yeah. That's what man, Teen Titans was a goat.
It was a good show. Like it was
Just good plots, man. Just good stories. Good stories.
yeah,
And then we
the
got this trash
show
movie.
the show did really well. Because yeah, like the whole Red X thing with Robin, whenever Cyborg infiltrated the hive,
Yeah, I'm like,
um,
it was all every one of them had such a great story.
yeah, like Raven and her whole Trigon thing, and then whenever she eventually got the white coat, like yeah, all of that was really good.
Hell, they could have made
And
that a movie. They could have made the Trigon story just a whole movie in itself, and that would have been
they
gold.
needed they needed the time to they needed the episodes for that, or they needed like a real movie runtime,
Mm,
which I don't think they were going to get. So I'm happy with how it ended up because I think that that was like a three-part
it was.
episode. Yeah,
It was
and
long. I feel like it was more than that, but it was long though.
yeah, because I think there was a whole season dedicated to it,
Yeah.
but yeah, like they built that out and it was very well done in my opinion. But Robin is fighting Psychotech, and again, I'm over here like Robin is like alone. Robin going to work, but whenever everybody else was trying to help, all everybody lost. Whenever everybody was trying to be involved, yeah, like when Robin can cook, yeah, Robin's giving this thing problems, and so Robin quote unquote kills him. And
Talking about something I didn't mean to. Man, if that was
yeah,
any other.
I think I don't know, because you took it personal.
Yeah, well, if that was an actual was person, yeah, they probably would actually be dead. But for the sake of the cartoon, we're gonna say the character
Yeah,
is presumed dead.
and he had like pink fingers, and he was like, "I promise this isn't blood." Okay, we know, but whatever. So he gets arrested for manslaughter because everybody saw this happen.
Yeah.
And, of course, even when I was young, I was like, no, no, that's not what happened. But okay. And the Titans are, now they're starting to come on the other side of their fun day. They're starting to realize, oh, I've been followed, and they, start to get attacked because they're like, hey, we need to make moves. Uh, Raven finds out the information she needs, and then that like ghost thing comes after her.
They skipped through everyone's fight, and I didn't appreciate that at all, actually.
Again, that tight 75 minutes.
I was like, I didn't appreciate that. And maybe my whole reason for my dislike for this whole movie is because of time reasons. But regardless, no, I just didn't appreciate that. I legit thought I had missed something. Like the fight scenes were over, and I was like, okay, maybe I looked down on my phone or something. I rewinded and was like, no, no, actually,
No,
yeah, that was
yeah,
it.
yeah, it just didn't. Yeah, it just didn't. So, yeah, the Titans eventually are able to regroup or well, they're trying to regroup, but they get attacked, and we don't really see what happens there. But Robin is being moved, and we see a psychotech shuriken, and so we're like, huh, what's what's all this? The people, he got arrested by the police, but is Bruce Shogun the one who got him out? Like, we're not sure what's happening right now. If we haven't seen this, we're like a little confused. Like, okay, Bruce Shogun wants me to find him, but based on all of the shit he's been talking that we, the viewers, have seen, he doesn't. So what's happening? What's going on? Like they're creating some like, oh, what is it? And so Robin is like, all right, I I gotta find him because this is bullshit. And Psychotech attacked me again, and I feel like I was framed. So no, we're gonna have to find him. And Robin is like, but how am I gonna do it? I can't be Robin because they're looking for Robin. So whatever will I do? And then some random, give me your money. Robin is like, oh, right on time. It's a good thing I'm in the rough neighborhood. It's a good thing I'm in Shibuya.
And I'm just gonna decide you gonna rob me? I'm gonna go ahead and just rob you.
Yeah, you gonna rob me? You picked a great day. Cause I ain't Bruce. Cause yeah, you catch me in an alley. I'll show you something.
Man, so I'm gonna go ahead and beat your ass and take your clothes real quick. Thank you.
Real quick, thanks. And yeah, Robin didn't feel bad about it because he was like, he did try, he was a villain. He tried to rob me. So yeah, I beat his ass and took his clothes. What? And so Robin goes to again the rough part of town and just starts causing a ruckus, starts putting his hands on people, asking questions like, "Hey, what can you tell me about Bruce Shogun?" And the bartender's like, they don't like us talking about it, but here's the information that I have." Cool. So, and luckily there happened to be a motorcycle that Robin was able to ride because, the movie needs to happen. So, good thing he found that. And he is being chased by the the police, the troopers, and he gets cornered. Like they're gonna get him. And then Starfire comes through clutch right on time. And now the Titans are able to regroup and they are discussing what's happening. Cyborg has analyzed everything and he's like, all of it is connected. It's all the same. Raven says, here is the story of Bruce Shogun. There was an artist and he wanted his art to come to life, so he used the Japanese dark arts. And unfortunately, it consumed him. He turned into like a venom ink creature, and that's how we got here.
Is this like actually a tale?
I don't know. I don't think so.
I didn't think so either, to be honest with you.
Like, it's definitely nothing that I've heard about. And I have only seen this character, like the name Bruce Shogun, in reference to Teen Titans. I've never seen it anywhere else.
Yeah, I'm not seeing it anywhere else. Nor is AI Google telling me anything. So I think it's just literally off of the show.
Yeah, that's what that was my understanding. Like that was a name I didn't recognize, and yeah, like I had never seen that ever. And it sounds like some American made up name. Like it doesn't sound like a thing. But, also it could be. I don't know. And so the Teen Titans figure out, okay, we have some information. We need to start making moves. And then the Titans are found by like everybody chasing them. So not only the ink creatures, but also all of the girls that were chasing Beast Boy from the karaoke and the restaurant dude who was tired of Cyborg eating all of his food. And so like everybody. And we have like a little chasing montage because again, a montage is how we're going to get to that montage is how we're going to keep this at a tight 75.
And that's how you're gonna get them to travel and also, yeah,
Like,
get this done really quick.
yeah, you get a lot done in a montage. And so they decide, you know where we should go? We should go to the comic book factory because that's a place that's connected to ink. And it says it's been closed, but obviously that's where we got to go. I don't know if it's in the bad part of town. It's probably not. It's probably in the good part of town. So, there goes that stereotype. But whatever. So they go and they find Bruce Shogun, and they find him attached to a machine, and he's not looking great. And the voice actor for him, I'm pretty sure it was Shang Tsung, and
Mm.
I love him in anything he does.
I'm like, I don't remember, to be honest. I don't think I remember his voice.
It
Like, it
it
didn't
sound
stand out.
it sounded like Shang Tsung to me. Um, and yeah, again, I love him whenever I see him or hear him for that matter. But um, yeah, so they find him, and it's very clear that he's not the villain we've been seeing because we've been seeing, like a dude who looks similar to Slade, and he's in a big chair and he's covered in shadows. And based on how they showed Bruce Shogun in the flashback of the introduction to his story, we're like, oh, that being him doesn't make sense.
Yep.
But he explains like, hey, uh my powers have been used against my will. I am attached to this machine. There's nothing I can do. I'm the
Which
one
is
who sent Psychotech to Jump City to come get you, to bring you here to find me. So they're like, oh, well, then who is behind it?
But
And they're like,
also, how
oh,
do
good.
you send someone to come whoop my ass to bring me here? You couldn't just send them in like with a letter or
And
something of the sort. You got to destroy my place.
yeah, because my thought is we got to a point where whenever he arrived, and then they caught him because he was destroying shit, causing problems, and then
Yeah,
they
he was
caught
just
him,
doing stuff.
and after they caught him, he was scared and talking. So I'm like, obviously he could speak and had sentience and like all that. So like, why didn't you just send him to say, "Hey, here's the situation," even if it's in Japanese? Like, we can get that translated. We can obviously get that translated.
He said, "I'm messing with a real one,
Yeah,
aka
but
Robin." So I got to make sure I gotta.
I got to speak his language. I got to that like this will get him here, and he was right because again, Robin took it personally.
He said, "Hands." That's the only language that man speaks. I gotta. That's the only way I can get him here.
Yeah, and I don't know how Bruce Shogun had heard about Robin. Like, I don't know how he knew any of this.
If he's
If
been attached to a machine, yeah, I didn't think about that till literally just now. How did you have any kind of outside information about what the hell is going on?
hmm how did this happen? How did we get here? And we don't know how long he's been attached to this machine. We don't know at what point. Daiso got him and started using him. Like there are some things we don't know, but yeah, I was like, how do you even like who told you about Robin or the Teen Titans at all? And you went a really long way to make that happen.
across the ocean.
Yeah. And I guess it's a good thing it didn't rain on the way or anything because,
Yeah.
that would have been bad.
Plot.
But, movies got to happen. And so Robin eventually is like, isn't that right, Commander Daiso? And, he appears and it's like, oh, he's been behind it this whole time.
Maybe with
He,
detective skills.
of course. And it's a situation where like he's like there was no crime, so I had to like I got the one villain that there was, and there was no more crime because Japan is perfect and we don't do crime here. So I had to create criminals in order to legitimize myself and get all these awards and keys to the city and shit. So yeah,
I mean,
and
it makes
then
sense. I guess they created a black person to get dealt with.
yep,
It's valid.
and perhaps that was a real black person. Who knows?
Guess so. That was just one of the other criminals outside of Brashigan.
And so the Titans are surrounded by all kinds of shit because Commander Daiso turns on the machine and has all manner of ink creature made.
Which also, like, y'all were getting handled one by one versus one,
Yep.
and now it's like a whole bunch in some kind of way. Y'all are all of a sudden all
He-
stars.
I think their explanation to that was, hey, these things aren't alive. Oh, so I don't have to hold back.
He did make that clear. He did say out loud they aren't alive or something with that nature. And the next thing
Something
I
to
know, I
that
was like,
effect.
okay, they're just like, fuck it, yeah, everything is dying.
Because yeah, if I'm cyborg, yeah, I'm turning the juice up.
You're just blasting.
Yeah, I'm not setting it to stun. I'm setting it to kill. But also, Cyborg wasn't playing around anyway because the first thing Cyborg did, or not the first thing, but Cyborg blew off Blue Shogun's or Psychotech's arm when they were in Jump City. When they were fighting
Oh,
just the one,
yeah,
Cyborg
that's facts.
blew his arm off. And when he saw it grow back, that's when he was like, oh. And then with the kaiju, he blew a hole through it. And then when it grew back, he was like, oh. So, yeah, Cyborg was shooting to kill anyway, but he's the one who was like, oh, so we don't have to hold back. All right.
Headshots.
Yeah, if I'm Cyborg, I'm clearing the room. But, if I'm Starfire or Raven, same situation. Like this is not going to be an issue anymore.
Just
I
bringing the whole thing
promise.
down.
Yeah. So I think that's the excuse that was used was, oh, now that we know that they're not real, they're just ink, we can go ahead and go full tilt. And because I wondered that same thing, I was like, Psychotech was beating y'all's ass, and there are so many of them now. One thing that was interesting was it didn't occur to me that all of the troops were also ink. I did think that was interesting.
Yeah, I did think they were actual normal troops until they started making them. And then at some point I was putting together like, okay, they make the troops look like Psychotech in a sort of similar. But yeah, when they just started making troops, I was like,
Yeah, I didn't think about that. Um, I was like, that's good. Because yeah, like you don't need to pay into like you don't have an actual police force. And so like if any of those people have a salary, it's just going to Daiso.
yeah.
So yeah, I was like, okay, that was one thing I was like, that was good. I like that. And so they're all fighting and everything's going on. And Robin is like, no, I'm here for you. And Robin corners him. And then he's like, haha, I have a trick up my sleeve. And then he jumps into the ink machine and becomes this, giant ink monster. And the heart of it is Bruchogin because he's still controlling him somehow. And yeah, he just starts making like the creatures that he's making are like messy as far as the colors that are being used and like
Yep.
all like it doesn't matter anymore. Like I just need as many as I can get and we gonna throw these hands. So there's more fighting
Was a good action
and
sequence. I'll give that one. This part
yeah,
was is actually wasn't like hand like it was not a lot of hand to hand as much as like the Robin scene, but it still was a good action sequence. I would just say that.
I agree. And yeah, like action, 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 fight, 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 and then eventually Robin uh sees Bushogun show up and he's like, "Oh, we got to pull him out." And then the magic will be broken. So Robin tries to pull him out and then gets absorbed by the ink. And it's like, oh no, he's been taken by the ink. And then everybody starts losing right then. And then we see, oh, the glimmer of hope. Robin, steps out of the ink, pulls him out. Because to drown in water is one thing. To drown in ink, like that sounds
I was like, I
terrible.
hockey feel like that's instant death, to be honest with you. That's heavy.
That's what I'm saying. Like that, oh, that sounds awful. And so,
Sounds like tar.
yeah, but doesn't matter. No, no drowning. Robin pulls him out, and all of the ink starts just falling apart. And I'm pretty sure Blue Shogun was like, "Thank you," and he disappears. But because I'm sure they couldn't show him dying,
Yeah, that was my assumption. I was like, "Huh, I guess it is a kid cartoon, so
and he did
can't
use
really
dark magic or
yeah, I
whatever.
was like, they can't show that, so they just made him just disappear. And I was like,
Like
all right, that's
literally just disappear. I was like,
I'll accept that, I guess.
okay.
Maybe he could have melted away with the rain, but no,
Because
he
that's
actually
what I thought.
disappeared.
I thought he was gonna like yeah, like just turn into ink and fall apart. That's what I expected. But no, he disappeared. Like he is gone.
Vanquished.
And it rained. It could if it had rained just a little earlier. Like this rain could have had like it would have been real great if this rain could have come just a little bit earlier.
That's
Like,
a crazy weakness to have. Like you turn into this giant monster, and God forbid it just rains. You're
yep,
you're you're instantly done.
you're done. Depending on how heavy that rain is, yeah, you're done.
it is like, oh yeah, that's all we needed. Just some rain. Now this whole situation is now no longer a thing because it also rained.
Yeah. So like even if, they had started losing and things weren't going well, like they could have waited for that rain and then it would have been fine. So,
What?
yeah. But the movie's got to happen and the rain had to be there to like actually make all the ink go away and so that we could see Commander Daizo.
You're right. They got 75 minutes. They gotta make it quick.
And,
Gotta
kissing
get
in
rid
the
of it.
rain is better than kissing not in the rain, I guess. So, Robin and Starfire finally have their moment and then we see that the mayor is like, Teen Titans, we love you. Thank you so much. You are always welcome in Japan. We have, these medals of honor for you. And so, Beast Boy gets his hose, Cyborg gets his food, Raven gets a deal with the gum company, Starfire and Robin get each other, and, everybody's happy. And that's the movie. So,
Yep. That's all, folks. That is all.
so your has your number changed at all since we talked about it? Like scale of 1 to 10, where are you thinking
I said
now?
what? I said like a 4 or 5.
Hmm.
I might go up to like a 6. Because like
Okay.
realizing like, okay, yeah, it is has to be on a certain time. So it has to get things done. It has to introduce things. But yeah, I can't go higher than a 6 though. This movie was I
You
don't
didn't
know.
enjoy it. Is
I did not enjoy. I did not enjoy it as much as I thought it would. Like, and I still think that if I were to watch Teen Titans right now, just like a season, I feel like I would enjoy it. Like I would enjoy story, plot, the emotion, like all of it.
same.
But
Like I feel like the show was really good.
and I
And because I watched the first season as an adult, and I was like, this is still good.
yeah,
And so yeah, like Teen Titans was a good show. I
I think the show
remember,
carried this is what that and that's literally what it is.
yeah. And again, this movie could have been 3 episodes. Like
Facts.
this didn't need to be a movie. I guess it was easy to make this a movie because it took place in a different, like in an entirely different country. And
Yup.
so that made it easy to isolate because if it had taken place in Jump City, there would have been some splaining to do. But they were able to just say, we went to Japan for, a couple days and then came back and it did not affect things here.
I feel
Like,
like they mostly use this to just build even like much further upon the Robin Starfire relationship.
yeah, like I think this is the movie they were like, all right, they are together now.
And I'll tell you, I still feel like that had to have been the selling piece for like making this a thing.
Maybe. And I guess I should have looked into it. I'm not sure where this falls in the actual like Teen Titans timeline, but also I'm not sure where this I feel like this fell after season 3,
Yeah, I was
but
like, because I really
I'm
don't
not
know
sure.
when this took place. Like, this came out 2006, so I don't know when the seasons were.
I want to say the show was '03 to '08. I want to say. I'm not 100% sure on that.
Ooh, actually, I think I think it was to 2000s. It was 03 to 06. It had 5 seasons, and season 5 aired in 06.
Oh, so this was the end. This was
Yeah, this is
this was
crazy.
after season 5. That's interesting.
I don't know if it
Okay.
was after season 5. It might have been middle season 5.
Okay. But this was
But
late in their Teen Titans journey.
yeah, this definitely is season 5. Oh, actually, no, this came out much. Yeah, this came out much later after season 5 ended.
Okay. So yeah, this was a finale, if you will.
Yeah, that's weird.
Okay. That makes sense. This was them saying, yes, Robin and Starfire do get together.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly what it felt like. It felt like that's what they tried to make happen.
Okay. Okay. And it explains why it wasn't an episode or was why it wasn't a series of episodes.
Yeah, they said, "Oh, we got to bring this. Can't make this its own thing. We got to just make this into a thing."
Yeah. And, cool. I would give this a 6.5. I think it was not bad for what it was. I think that compared to the show, it's not, hitting like the show was, but also they only had a tight 75 minutes. And taking that into consideration, it did pretty good for what they had and what it was. So I definitely didn't hate it, but I didn't like it like I did when I was younger.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I literally fantasized with this damn movie as a kid, and I
And
don't. At this point, I don't know why, but I definitely remember myself like that nostalgia feeling. I'm
no,
actually
that's
upset
true.
now that I ruined that for myself.
No, and sometimes that's how it happens. Like whenever you watch something as a kid and then when you watch something when you're older, like it can be very different experiences.
Yeah, I'm like,
Because
fuck.
I'm sure there's a lot of shit I watched as a kid that I loved that I'd watch now and I'd be like, what the fuck was I on? Like what? And the other way around, there's some stuff that was on when I was a kid and I was like, I hate this. This is stupid. And then now I'm like, this is kind of good. So yeah, that's just how it works. Um, you develop, you get, you know, older and wiser, and you see things very differently. And that's why we're doing this journey because we've looked through a lot of the not super recent, but we've looked through movies up to 2020, and I wanted to explore some of the older ones to see if they hold up, how well they do, if they are as good as we remember, or if nostalgia is the only thing that's holding these things up in our minds.
For facts.
Because with the shows, I have watched the shows from this time period as an adult, and they are still good. Like Batman the Animated Series, still good. Static Shock, still good.
Facts.
Justice League Unlimited, still good. Like a lot of DC's animation is excellent regardless of when you watch it. Like that's good shit. And
Low-key
generally
appreciate them a
speaking,
little bit more like as an adult now. Like when I went back and watched some, I was like, this is actually good quality show.
agreed. And yeah, like the fact that it holds up today, the animation, the storytelling, everything happening, and well, I'm like, yeah, that is quality. And that is why we're here. That is how this podcast came to be. DC Animation knows what they're doing, and somebody needed to talk about it. So here we are. Um, Juice Man, thank you for being here. Did you have anything else on the movie?
Uh, Not really about the movie. Movie's ass. I'm still standing by it. Five or six, whatever, man. It is what it is. Hella confused. They shouldn't have had a black person in the middle of the movie for some reason getting arrested by the cops. But hey, we're here. It's Teen Titans. Also, I
Okay.
love Teen Titans Go a lot.
Teen Titans Go is so good. I wanted to hate it.
I
I have
did. I
I have
wanted to
said
hate it and
this
I could not.
I've said this on the record so many times. I wanted to hate Teen Titans Go so much. I was like, this is bullshit. They have ruined such a great show. It's trash. And then I watched it. This shit is so funny.
I'm like, this is actually good. When they first like not premiered, like was talking about it, I was like, oh, okay, Teen Titans Go. This is why would they do this? Of course, the usual hate. I watched like the first few episodes. I said, this is funny as fuck.
It's
Like,
so funny. Like that show is so good. And it knows what it is, and it does that very well. It makes fun of itself. It's hilarious. Like I don't know if there are very many episodes of that show where I didn't laugh at least once, and the songs are fire.
yes, and that's why it lasted for so long. Teen Titans Go, I think it's still, I don't know if it's still on, but it lasted
It should
forever.
still be, because yeah, and they figured out all the licensing shit, so Teen Titans Go can use everyone.
Yeah, it's 8 seasons. Like,
Yeah, like it's so funny. And I love Teen Titans Go. If you haven't watched Teen Titans Go, just turn on a random episode. Again, I wanted to hate it. I really did. I promise. I tried to hate it, but it is so funny.
it's a good cartoon. Like, and it's so difficult to actually even explain. It's just genuinely a good, funny cartoon. Like, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just funny. It's just bullshit nonsense, and it's hilarious, and it's just a good time.
Yeah,
And
I
I
think they
highly
brought back
recommend it.
some of the same actor. Like,
Oh no, it's the same five for like all five have reprised.
yeah, it's the same actors. They just pulled them back into this like more of a kid show. It's yeah, it's good. It's crazy. It is.
Yeah.
It's a crazy good show.
So yeah, both Teen Titans original was good because it was also funny, but it told a really good story.
Yeah.
This is just pure comedy, and it's so funny. And some of the comedy is relevant, like to today's. It's just really good. I I recommend it. And that's not just because I'm a fan of DC animation, but they knew what they were doing. Like they can do whatever they want. Like they made just a pure comedy show and it is hilarious. So, yeah, watch Teen Titans Go if you haven't. But all right. In the next episode, we will be discussing Superman Shazam: The Return of Black Adam. So, until then, salutations.